Hello guys, it's the man here.
Welcome to the channel.
So today we're going to be talking about a topic that, to be honest, I care about quite a lot. Now, this channel I tend to talk about headphones, hi-fi speakers and that. But what I haven't had the most chance to talk about is TVs. And if you knew me, you'd know I'm way into my TVs. That behind me is a Philips OLED TV with Ambilight. Downstairs I've got a Samsung 75-inch QLED, and I've had multiple projectors in the past from JVC, Epson and the like. So yeah, the whole cinema experience is something very, very important to me. Now I want to start this off by just saying to the people who are, OLED fanatics, I know there's a lot of them out there. I myself was one. First thing I want to say is try to have an open mind when you watch this, because image quality, I know you've been told otherwise, but image quality is not just dependent on the black level. And I know OLED excels in that particular feature, is black levels, but it does not, image quality does not just depend on that one thing. And I'm going to explain why I think the QLED technology, and in particular the Neo QLED technology in 2021, is going to be something that you should really consider if you're looking for an upgrade. So to give you a bit of background, okay, I was an OLED fanatic prior to 2020. Since 2006, I heard about OLED and I always wanted to buy an OLED, and I finally got my first OLED TV in 2016 when they were still quite new, right? But what I've come to realize recently is that there's still a lot of life left in LCD, and I know I'm right, because if I were wrong, why is it that LG, the worldwide monster that is LG, that is producing all of the OLED panels in TVs, why is it LG are now starting to produce their QNED technology, QNED, which is, you'd think that's a stupid move because that's based on LCD. And what they're doing essentially is competing with their own OLED lineup. So why would LG be doing that if they really believe that OLED is way better than LCD? And the reason is because they know that Samsung are releasing Neo QLED, and this has made that gap between OLED and LCD even smaller than it already was. And in some areas, OLED is behind, and I'm going to explain to you now. For reference, guys, the TV that I've got downstairs, which is my main TV now, is a Samsung 75-inch QLED Q90R, and I bought it last year. It was just when the first lockdown started, and I knew I was going to be trapped indoors, so new TV, as you do. And I switched from an LG OLED C8 model, which I had since 2018, and I always thought it never looked quite right. Okay, I switched to a QLED, and I'm not looked back since. So first of all, what is this Neo QLED? What is this Neo QLED all about? And I'm going to tell you, it raises the bar that little bit higher above your standard QLED, because, put it this way, QLED has, well, the top QLEDs have a 4-array dimming panel. And what that means is you have a load of LED zones behind. Now my Q90R has about 480 dimmable zones in the 75-inch screen, which tends to work actually very well. But Mini QLED, I'm getting this wrong. Neo QLED, is raising that to about 5,000 zones, okay? So what that means is you have even more intricate control over the source of light, which gives you a massive boost in quality, okay? Now, here are the reasons why I think QLED, Neo QLED in particular, is going to be better for most people in 2021. The first reason is the viewing angles. Now, when I got my Q90R, to tell you the truth, I was absolutely gobsmacked at how far QLED has come with regards to viewing angles, because for me, I've always thought in the modern day, in the last 5 years or so, the main problem with LCD was the viewing angles, not so much the black levels, because I thought they had really improved since 20 years ago. It was actually the viewing angles, because black level is a weak point. But if you're putting this TV in a living room and there's loads of people, sitting in the living room and everyone's seeing a different image, you know, it's a particular problem, especially with the VA type panels that you get in higher contrast LCD screens. That's the issue. But the Q90R is a different beast altogether. And ever since the panel that got released on my TV, all of the TVs that have been released since then in the flagship lineup have been excellent for viewing angles. So this is one thing that I'm not concerned about one bit. Moving on, the next reason why I think QLED is going to be dominant in 2021 is because of the contrast. So as I mentioned earlier, more dimmable zones that are able to be utilized using this mini LED technology. Now, the thing is, right, we have, as mentioned earlier, LG, 2,500 zones apparently in their QNED technology. Neo QLED up to about 5,000 zones, right? My TV, 480 zones, and I am totally happy with that. Take into account that I've always wanted an OLED and, you know, I'm into my home cinema. Just letting you know, guys, when you go to IMAX, when you go to top cinemas in the world, they don't have perfect black levels. When you go outside and look in the dark, everything is not perfect black. It's such a rare occasion that you're going to see a jet black that I don't really see a real world. What's the real gain that you're getting from a perfect black? Other than if you're like computer tech, like computer generated graphics and stuff like that. But in real like photography or video, you're never going to see anything close to a perfect black. Okay, and even then on a TV with dimmable zones, you can get a perfect black. So, you know, it's just the haloing effects on these dimmable TVs that are still a tiny bit of a problem. But my QLED, I'm absolutely happy with it. I'm so happy with it, and I'm looking for faults. I'm trying to look for faults. And the main thing, I think the main thing with these TVs is the black bars on 21:9 footage. Black bars, they're totally gone with the QLED I've got. Okay, you don't see any light leakage or anything like that. You just got to make sure that you put your TV in the right mode, and then you don't get any light leakage. So there we go. That's what I think about that. I think that gap between OLED and QLED, especially Neo QLED, has now closed, and it's just very, very small now for most real world footage. I think it's not really something that you can really say, oh, you know, you have to buy OLED, because I just think that's not really that much of an argument anymore. The third reason that I think Samsung Neo QLED is, again, better is because of the light filter on the TV. And this is so important, guys, because with a good light filter, it means you're able to watch your TV in all world conditions. And for me, the reason my living room TV is a QLED, whereas my upstairs TV is an OLED, is because downstairs I have a massive patio door that's letting light into the living room, and curtains either side that we like to keep open during the day. Now the light filter on the Samsung means we're able to watch the TV. The TV has excellent brightness as well, so it's able to battle the ambient light, and it's much better than my previous OLED that I had, which was the C8 LG 75-inch. Way better than that. So I just don't think the way OLED works with its glass screens, I don't think it's ever going to be better than what Samsung's able to do with its light filter. And it really does make a difference. So it makes a big difference to me. Another reason why I think Samsung is, again, a better choice for most people, is the One Connect box. Okay, so if you don't know what the One Connect box is, right, it basically is like a little box, right, that sits under your TV or in your TV cabinet, and it uses one wire from that box to go to your TV. And that one wire, it's like a really small wire. It's like thinner than that. Look, it's like thinner than that. It's thinner than that, okay? And it's translucent, right? And that one wire does all the power, and it does all the data, all the input data, all of that stuff in one wire. And everything you want to connect to your TV, like your PS5 or your Xbox and your Skybox, if people have those anymore, and whatever, you just connect that to the One Connect box, and that's it. And it's not behind your TV, so if you wall mount your TV, there's no problem. You don't have to try and claw your way around it and try to put something new in. It's all in your TV cabinet. That's how I store mine. It's so much better, guys. I can't even explain to you, especially when you're like someone like me who likes to add new things to your setup all the time. It's just so much more convenient. Another thing is the no gap wall mount. Now, I think it must be years, like 4 or 5 years at least, since I last put a TV on its, the pedestal stand that comes in the box. I always wall mount my TVs when I can now. And the no gap wall mount from Samsung is just something that I think is way better than conventional wall mounts. Fair enough, they're expensive, and fair enough, it's a proprietary technology, which I don't really like, but it just makes your TV sit on your wall. It looks like part of the wall. It's just so much better, and I wouldn't go back to a standard wall mount again since I have my no gap wall mount. You know, I just haven't seen anything like that from LG. Maybe I'm wrong, but I've not seen anything like that from LG OLEDs or other OLEDs like Sony and whatever. They usually have this kind of like big gap at the back. You know, some people won't care, but I care. Another thing is gaming. So for people who like games, first of all, Samsung TVs, from whenever I've looked it up on reputable websites where they take measurements, the input lag of Samsung TVs always seems to be very low, which is exactly what you want for gaming, because it makes the games feel smoother. And you know, when you're in a competitive environment, you're not behind in terms of what's going on live. So if you're a competitive gamer, 100%, you want probably a Samsung or some brand that can offer you a guarantee that the input lag is going to be low. And another reason why it's good is that these Neo QLEDs are, apparently they're supporting NVIDIA G-Sync. So that's a nice thing to have if you're a gamer. It does make a difference, G-Sync. I don't usually use it that often because I'm not a crazy gamer anymore. Used to be more of a gamer, but NVIDIA G-Sync, from what I've always seen, it reduces tearing. It's a variable type refresh rate on the fly, and it does make a difference. So if you like to connect your PC up to your QLED TV, you're going to really enjoy that. So next one, point number 7 is your HDR images. So if you're into HDR, you have a good kind of library of HDR content that you want to get through, or if you like to buy these 4K UHD HDR Blu-rays and whatever, HDR is something where QLED TVs shine, and in my opinion, they're just night and day better than OLEDs. I don't care what anyone tells me, they're night and day better than OLEDs for HDR, because I've seen both, right? I've seen both. I've got one behind me. I know they are better because, let me tell you why. Standard dynamic range was designed to fit in with the technology at the time. And at the time, we had cathode ray tubes, if anyone remembers CRT technology. Now, reference for SDR, for standard dynamic range, was 100 nits. Okay, that's what you would calibrate your peak white to. But modern screens can output brightness far in excess of 100 nits. And the current Neo QLEDs are talking about 2000 nits or something crazy, like that actually measured, not just the figure, something like 1800 nits or more, right? So SDR, it does limit the ability of your screen, even though I think SDR still looks good today. But if you're interested in HDR, what you're trying to do with HDR is you're trying to recreate the natural world, right? And let me put this into perspective for you, because a lot of people are going to be thinking, oh, I don't need so much brightness. I don't care about brightness. Let me just put it into perspective, right? A typical summer's day, right? When you walk outside, it measures over 100,000 lumens, okay? And that is what your TV is trying to recreate when you're, let's say it's putting out a summer's day image on the TV, right? Now, 1 nit is approximately 3.5 lumens, okay? So if we just use a bit of maths, we can work out that your TV, in an ideal case, would probably need 28,000 nits to be able to have any chance of coming close to looking like a real summer's day, okay? So yes, you don't need it. You don't need the extra brightness. But if you're trying to recreate something, you're trying to recreate an image and make it look more as if you're in there in that environment, brightness is a factor that is limited. It's what's limiting the potential of an image when you're watching a TV. So something with high brightness, high peak brightness, is going to make it look more real when you have like peak dynamics on a screen, and it is better than OLED. OLED have these ABL backlight limiters built in as well. I think they've come a long way, but I've literally seen with my own eyes OLEDs restrict the peak brightness when it's for an extended period of time. And yeah, so that's just another point. Okay, point number 8 is 12-bit luminance scales. So Neo QLED apparently is supporting 12-bit luminance scales. What this means is you're going to get even more subtle details in the extremes of the image, like let's say in the peak whites. And yeah, it will make a difference, especially like on something like a sky or something like that. And from my observation, again, this is something where I've noticed OLEDs have been a bit weak. It's like those gradations. You can kind of, it's like the in-betweens. You can hit the black, you can hit the white, but it's the in-betweens that I've noticed that OLED doesn't struggle with, but it's something that could improve, right? So Neo QLED 12-bit luminance scales offers 4096 gradations, whereas 10-bit offers 1024 gradations. So we have 4 times the amount of gradations there. So yes, feature that I'm welcoming. I'm not going to say no, I don't want it. So yeah, fine. Now, one area I think that QLED is let down, and this is really, really upsetting for me, is Samsung are in a format war. I don't know if many of you know this, but the reason why Samsung does not support Dolby Vision is because they are in a format war with Dolby, because Samsung backs HDR10+, okay? And yeah, the reason I'm upset is because if people are paying thousands for a TV, it's got all this capability, excellent HDR, deep dark blacks and gradations and all that sort of stuff, then why are you restricting people's ability to watch the content? Personally, I think it's not this company. You shouldn't really be paying. You shouldn't be playing games with people who pay all this sort of money. And I think Dolby Vision is winning the war of HDR. I think I think both of them. I don't believe Dolby Vision is better. I don't think a lot of people look at Dolby Vision and think, yeah, that's better. I think a lot of people probably wouldn't even tell the difference. But the point is, why would you limit someone's choice? I know you're in a format war, but it's just not nice. It's just not nice. I think Dolby Vision is winning in terms of popularity, and you need to really roll out an update for these TVs to allow them now to support Dolby Vision. Okay, if anyone agrees, put a like down below. And yeah, that's what I think about the QLED versus OLED topic and Neo QLED in 2021. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe.
Join my tribe or I smash you.